Do black divestors collaborate with white supremacists? Do black divestors conspire with white supremacists? Are they allies to white supremacists? The Black Divest movement has been calling for the eradication of black children, black male children. They have been promoting getting together with Zaddy against the black community. They have been promoting the extermination of the black man. They must be very happy with this beast for murdering 10 unarmed, innocent black people in a supermarket. Soft targets. He gets the honor, he gets the glory, he gets the respect. Not only from the black divestors like Cynthia G, by other cowardly white supremacists. He didn't go to the so-called thugs with the pistols and do hand-to-hand combat on an even playing field. He didn't go to the toughest so-called black community in America and post up with his AK-47, his AR-15, and get it in, get it on with people his age, the people that they say are out here killing blacks in their teens, black teenagers. He didn't go to them because he knew he couldn't, he ain't ready. He'd have been taken out in the body bag. As you see, these two white supremacist police officers took this beast in without even a punch, a scratch, a struggle, after he did what they deemed good work. And where is the black divestors, the swirlers, the ghetto gaggers? Where are their criticism of this 18-year-old Zaddy, who they promote, who they support, who they say is their knight in shining armor? Where are they? They're happy. They're smiling. Last week we lost Kevin Samuels, a prophet to the black man, to the black community. This week, Zaddy came through blasting. The divestors, the black woman, was happy that Kevin Samuels died. But what are they saying about this devil, this beast, Zaddy, pulling out these pistols, murdering black people? And what I say is this, right? And this is what I kind of noticed. There is a psychosis, a mental illness that permeates the majority of so-called black America. They have a mental disease. For some reason, they are not allowed, or they're programmed to not hate white people under any circumstances. This beast right here in this picture right here, there's nothing this beast can do to pull out the hatred out of black people towards him and his people. Blacks will always find a way to blame the black man for every single thing. They will find some type of excuse to hug this beast because they believe that one day little black man, little black boys, little white boys and little black boys will be holding hands in this utopia, this fantasy that has been promoted by the black elites, the black Greeks, talented tent, the boys, the quest for the golden fleece, integration of the talented tent into white society. But before that can happen, 90% of the black Negroes have to be exterminated. So this beast in this picture is doing the work of these Negroes that exterminating. But this beast, he didn't go to the poor community. He went to the middle class Negroes. The Negroes who thought they was safe. He went to their community, and the so-called Negro politicians, preachers are in cahoots, conspiracy. They're allies to the white supremacists. Just like in Tuskegee, when they was doing the syphilis experiment, the black elites was the ones injecting the syphilis, committing genocide for their masters, the so-called white man, the so-called white Jew, the liberal. Where is the black divestors? Criticism. Where is the videos breaking down this beast? Now, I don't care if there's 10, 20 more mass shootings of Negroes in supermarkets and churches, soft targets. They will find some way to forgive and hug this beast and blame the black man. Why wasn't you there to defeat this beast? Why wasn't you in church to stop Dylan Roof? You didn't want the black man there. You want old, decrepit, wrinkled up preachers, old men. You don't want the young men there. There's no place in America where a young black man is accepted. This place has to be created. There is really no investment into the black children. When Barack Obama was president, he created institutions to empower, to improve, and to enrich illegal alien children called DACA, the Dreamers Act, Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals, in which they're qualified to get work vouchers, free education, housing, and everything they need to prosper in America. Nothing for the black children who's been here, whose ancestors built the entire country, whose ancestors paved the way for so-called civil rights, both in the 1800s and in the 1900s. But these black children have been left out of resources. These black children have been neglected by this so-called government. And now you have a Democrat, Joe Biden, in politics, in power, in politics. 2 years in, not one policy to empower the black people, not one policy to prevent the racism against the black people, nothing for anti-black racism, no programs for black children like a DACA to guarantee and to ensure they have a bright and successful future. Nothing. They're giving billions of dollars to Ukraine to fight a war in another country. But where is the divestors who said the black man is the problem? Are they going to tell you to get one of these white supremacist beasts? Now, what they don't want to talk about is this. These philosophies that permeates white society has been there since the inception of America. There was never a program to end it. The only program that I ever saw to put an end to it was the American Civil War, in which Abraham Lincoln waged war against white supremacy and racism and slavery, and allowed for the black men to fight this war and to kill these beasts, to eradicate them from the earth, from the planet. But Lincoln was killed before his work was done. And the preceding presidents, the preceding regimes preserved white supremacy, kept them in power, kept them alive, kept them on this earth, never stripped them of their ideology, never punished them for their ideology, actually celebrated their ideology with honoring Confederate generals, traitors, statues all over the world so you can remember these traitors, telling their stories. But we don't know much of anything about the heroes, the black men who fought in the Union to eradicate these devils from the earth. That was the only program that ever happened in America to try to eradicate the ideology, because the ideals and the philosophy exist in the minds of the people. It's just like in the Bible, in the book of Exodus, when Moses was leading the children of Israel to the promised land. There was an ideology that still existed in the mentality of the people that was with Moses. The ideology that Egypt was better than this. When we was in Egypt, we had food to eat. We had places to live. Even though we was hewers of wood and drawers of water, slaves, it was better than this. And it constantly told this to everybody. It was better in Egypt. Every chance they got, they wanted to kill Moses and go back to Egypt. And God told Moses this: there's nothing we could do about these people. We got to wait till they die off. And we got to lead their children to the promised land. So you got to wait 40 more years in the wilderness till this philosophy deteriorates. They tried to build a golden calf in the wilderness, which is celebrated in Egypt and in India. The philosophy of these boule black Greeks exist in the minds of these people, who say eventually, once we eradicate the 90% undesirable Negro, we will be able to integrate into white society. They've been believing this since the 1800s, late 1800s with Du Bois. It's in his book, Souls of Black Folks. But this philosophy is in their minds. We have to make sure this philosophy is not passed down. And it must be biblical, because this new generation hasn't been getting the philosophy from the black Greeks, because this new generation hasn't really been going to colleges, HBCUs. The philosophy of the black Greek is dying off. And Kevin Samuels taught about the follies of the philosophy of the black Greeks when he talked about how we was led away from appreciating the sweat of our own labor, hard work. This was the Du Bois philosophy in the Souls of Black Folks, talking about we should get into the liberal arts, philosophy, and the music, and leave manual labor back in the plantations. He took us away from the trades, and it led us nowhere. Become a lawyer, become a doctor, become a poet, become a musician. Don't build buildings, don't build houses, don't farm, don't do hard work. Leave slavery behind. And when that happened, all the trades was acquired by these white European immigrants who replenished the white population after they was eradicated during the Civil War. And even though they was from Europe, they inherited the philosophy of the white supremacy, because the philosophy was preserved in museums and in statues, murals. So they actually learned the philosophy and embraced it, because they have the same skin color. So white supremacy was resurrected through European immigrants who just got here in the 1900s. They have nothing to do with this history, but they embraced it and they inherited it, and they continue it. In World War II, when the United States brought the Nazis to the United States and Project Paperclip, put them in the government, that preserved Nazism, but Nazism was actually based on the United States philosophy of manifest destiny, genocide against the indigenous people, stealing their resources, redistributing their wealth to white people. That's where the Nazis got that philosophy from. And that philosophy still exists because there was never a program, there was never a act of government, a law set up to eradicate this country of that philosophy by imprisoning, punishing, banishing those who practiced it in business. In the government actually practiced Jim Crow segregation for nearly really to this very day. But Jim Crow segregation reintroduced the so-called white society to racism, classism, the dynamics that existed on the plantations. Whites only, blacks only. Blacks get treated like trash. Blacks get on the back of the bus. You are a second-class citizen. And the ones that perpetuated this philosophy were European immigrants whose family wasn't even in the United States during slavery, because most of them was killed in the Civil War. But where is the black divestors? Why are they not denouncing Zaddy, Brad, whatever they want to call them? Why are they not putting up videos criticizing this dusty white supremacist? Because they actually believe and agree with this philosophy. They want him to go to the ghetto and kill the thugs, but they don't have the courage to do that. They don't want to fight on an even playing field. This is the whole purpose of so-called white supremacy, to prevent them from fighting and competing on an even playing field. They living on crutches. This is handicap. This is welfare. This is what your other YouTube Tariq Nasheed talks about. White supremacy is a welfare program. Just wanted to make this video real quick, Until next time.